Okay, this is Mystic Frequencies tour video number 3, adding in some of the latest stuff here. There's some speakers. Here's our big console that's going into the control room soon. Finally dug it out of the road case. It's really big and really heavy. 40 channels, about everything you could think of. It's a Soundcraft K2. Got MIDI. What a good mixing console. And over here is the Rhodes 54, just the ideal Rhodes when you move them around. Small and doesn't weigh that much. Speakers. Here is the Yamaha HX1, which is a FM and PWM hybrid. It is capable of 16 operators per algorithm, which is quite a bit more than the DX7 and the DX5 and the DX1 had. There's our Tascam Model 24 utility mixer. We use it for recording jams and compositions and things. It is currently recording the audio, except for my mic here I'm speaking into. Now, come around here to the Open Labs Neko. Open Labs had this idea long ago, and they made the Miko also, of putting a PC and all the stuff you'd connect for music to that PC all together in one keyboard. And it was really great for a while, but you know, technology, it just surpassed it right on by. But for a long time, it was actually a pretty popular unit. That's that. Novation Base Station 2. Gotta have it. Great machine there. And up here, world's biggest MIDI controller. Hooked up to the Base Station 2. It's actually meant to be played with mallets, like a marimba or a xylophone. Korg monologue, small but powerful. It's actually a really cool little unit there. Here is my Yamaha PS55, which was actually bought brand new at the same time from the same place when I bought my first synthesizer in 1984. It's actually really good for a Casio all-in-one type of keyboard. Down here is the Mystic Frequencies Spectrum synth. Handmade by myself over several months. It's designed to literally run and play and merge anything. VSTs to MIDI to whatever. The bottom keyboard, I don't have a sound set up, but they're playing this VST here. This keyboard, I have it wirelessly connecting to the Studio Electronics MIDI Moog. The MIDI Moogs are literal Model Ds in a rack case with additional LFO, MIDI, and a few other features you didn't get with the Model D. They literally took the boards out of a Model D and put them in this to make these. Quite unique. MS-2000, which I think we've covered before previously. It's a great unit too. 24 going on 25 years old, and it still holds its own. YK3M, more modules, Roland D110, Emir Percussion, Proteus 1, 2, and 3, and they're all the expanded XR memory units. Up here, Holly Brute. Really good keyboard right there. Here are Oberheim PtAC units. There's 5 of them in the series. The strummer plays a MIDI into it. It literally will strum your chords and make it sound like you're playing a guitar. So if you connect that to something that makes a good guitar sound, that's really something. The Cyclone, which was probably the most popular one, is an early pseudo AI sequencer that can play riffs and sequences, arpeggiate and all of that based on what you're playing, and it'll kind of make it up based on settings you preset into it so it stays within your rules. Drummer is kind of like the Cyclone in that it does the same thing, but you hook it to a drum machine and it'll play patterns and things along with what you're doing. The Navigator, now that was an interesting box. You could set it up to basically you play a note and that note could change a patch or change a cutoff. It's literally a MIDI, almost like a MIDI changer, if you will. You could take any MIDI message, control, change, pitch, bend, notes, and tell it when it sees that message to do something else. Output, say you hit a patch number and it outputs a whole bunch of different data to set up keyboards, or you play a specific note and it changes the cutoff or something. Pretty versatile. A Systemizer, not so useful today. It's basically a MIDI router, but in conjunction with these, it's probably still pretty useful. Here is the Conductive Labs Noodler. This here is a generative box. You can set up certain chords or progressions, and based on your playing and the buttons you push, it will generate MIDI output, which you connect to various keyboards and things, and you can do self-generating music. Beauty of it is you can do it live based on what you play in real time. And Sonic Fismo, old but still a very cool sounding keyboard. The fancy light strip didn't come with it. That's a little thing I found on eBay. Oberheim OBX8. Nice having aftertouch on an OB that emulates all of the old OB series keyboards and Oberheims. Matrix Blue Noir, I think that's how you say that. This was literally brand new for $900, which is why I have 2 of them now. My original Matrix Brute. Blasting everything because it's not set up for anything right now. This is the Weston Pro 2021, which was a kit. I had to build this. It's a literal Pro 1 clone, true to the circuitry. Matrix Brute 2, which, believe it or not, has a really good aftertouch. Deluge, which can do a lot of things. I have it set for drums here. Innovation Peak, which we're all familiar with. Yamaha RX-5. Rolling TR-8S. Then drum. This down here is the Marauder Nova, which is definitely 70s and 80s. All the sounds in it are Giorgio Moroder. Oh, turn the volume up. It works better. And up here, Novation Summit, which we've covered before. Then the Waldorf Quantum. The original, but look at there. Maybe 16 voices on the original Quantum. How do you like that? Pretty neat. That's all through a operating system update. These were 8 voice originally. Now I have to back out for this one because it's really big. That is the Schmidt 8 voice, which is probably the modern day mother of all synthesizers nowadays, which does way more than I'll ever tackle. Right now I've set it up to basically make thunderstorm sound. Pretty cool because the lights change to what you're doing. I changed the patch here. Let's see here. Well, maybe not. If they do change, I just can't remember how to do it. Now these, I'm going to turn them on so they can warm up because they are full of vacuum tubes. They're so old. Those are from about 1958 through about early 60s. These are audio generators. They're test equipment. And they're really good for doing drone sounds. This is the fun knob. There's that. Teisco S60P, their smallest preset keyboard. Factory Aftertouch, licensed by ARP. The S110F Teisco. Some people say they sound thin. I beg to differ. Below it, Teisco SX400, which is 4 oscillator synth. And the second one that I have. Here is the Moog Thera Mini, which we're all familiar with, one of several they've made. Here's the Teisco S60F. Below it, the Teisco 100F, which I don't have hooked up right now, and its Kawai counterpart 100F. Teisco was bought out by Kawai in the late 1960s, so for a while you could find keyboards with either name on them, which brings us to this here, Teisco SX240, and its Kawai counterpart, which was my first synthesizer. You can see I had a lot of fun with the buttons, just making them different colors and things. The Teisco SX210. Down here is a couple of Teisco 100Ps. Very similar to the Roland. I guess one of the first 2 Roland synthesizers were based on having these switches up front for the presets. Here is a Korg KPR 77 drum machine. Basically sounds like a cha-cha box, but you can program it, which is nice. The little JP08, which is connected to this unit down here, which is the microcosm. So it gives you kind of AI regenerative sounds on basically what you play. Sequential Prophet VS. It's actually a really good vector keyboard. My second synthesizer ever, the Kawai K3. Kawai K5. Korg Trident Mark II. This was the follow-up to the original Trident, which I forget what all it added. It added more memories and it changed some of the knobs to full adjustability instead of switches. And that's about it for the new additions here. Tune in next time when we show you the next additions.